Welcome back to Thinkiverse Podcast, unlocking knowledge across the spectrum every day. I'm Ryan Lamas,
And I'm Rona Sleto.
and we are so excited to have you join us for another deep dive into the fascinating world of health. And remember, hit that like button and subscribe to stay updated on all our upcoming deep dives into the world of knowledge. Today, we're going to be your guides through the often overlooked world of nutrient deficiencies. You might be surprised how many common symptoms could actually be your body crying out for specific vitamins and minerals.
Yeah, it's like your body sending you secret coded messages. We're going to crack the code and learn how to interpret those signals.
Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine your body's like a car. To run smoothly, it needs the right fuel and maintenance. If you're missing key nutrients, it's like trying to drive with a flat tire or an empty gas tank. You might be able to get by for a while, but eventually things are going to break down. Our source material today is a YouTube video by Dr. Eric Berg, DC, called 23 Signs Your Body Needs More Nutrients, How to Address the Deficiencies. We're going to break down each of those 23 signs, looking at the symptoms, the potential deficiencies, and most importantly, what you can do about it. Are you ready to become your own health detective?
Absolutely. Let's dive in.
All right. The first sign Dr. Berg talks about is white spots on your nails. Have you ever noticed those? I know I have.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Sometimes they just appear out of nowhere. What does that mean?
Well, according to Dr. Berg, those little white spots are often a sign of a zinc deficiency. But here's where it gets really interesting. It's not necessarily that you're not consuming enough zinc. It could be that you're consuming too much sugar.
Sugar affects your zinc levels.
It does. Excess sugar can actually deplete zinc from the body.
Wow, that's fascinating. So those white spots on your nails might actually be a reminder to cut back on the sweets.
Exactly. It's like a little sugar hangover on your fingernails. And if you want to replenish your zinc levels, focus on foods like pumpkin seeds, chickpeas, and even dark chocolate. In moderation, of course. Okay, sign number 2 is oily skin.
This one has to do with the sebaceous glands, those tiny oil factories in our skin. When they're overproducing oil, it often points to an imbalance of androgens, which are male hormones.
So too much testosterone can lead to too much oil.
You got it. And zinc helps regulate those androgens.
Zinc is a busy little mineral. So to recap, if you're struggling with oily skin, reducing sugar intake and boosting zinc could be a game changer.
Definitely. And just a note for our female listeners, if oily skin is accompanied by other symptoms like irregular periods or excessive hair growth, it could be a sign of polycystic ovarian syndrome or PCOS. PCOS is linked to insulin resistance and high androgens, so it's always a good idea to talk to your doctor if you're experiencing any of these symptoms.
Good point. Yeah. Okay, moving on to sign number 3. Cracking at the corners of the mouth or on the heels of your feet.
This one can be painful and unsightly. It often points to a deficiency in B vitamins, particularly vitamin B2, also known as riboflavin.
B vitamins play a crucial role in converting food into energy, and they also help maintain healthy skin, nerves, and red blood cells. So if you're seeing those cracks, it could be a sign that your body's not getting enough B2 to keep your skin healthy.
Yeah.
What kinds of things cause B vitamin deficiencies?
One of the biggest culprits is refined grains. Whole grains naturally contain B vitamins, but when those grains are refined, the nutrients get stripped away. So white bread, white rice, and most breakfast cereals are basically B vitamin bandits.
So if you're reaching for that white toast in the morning, you might be robbing your body of essential B vitamins.
You could say that. To boost your B2 intake, try incorporating more nutritional yeast into your diet. You can sprinkle it on popcorn, add it to soups, or even make a cheesy sauce with it.
Now that's a delicious way to get your nutrients. Okay, what's next on our list of bodily signals?
Number 4 is flaking skin, often around the nose or forehead.
Oh, I get that sometimes, especially in the winter when the air is dry.
Dry air can definitely contribute, but this specific type of flaking, especially in those areas, is often a sign of an omega-3 fatty acid deficiency. Omega-3s are essential for so many functions in the body, including brain health, heart health, and yes, skin health.
So if our skin is flaking, it's like our bodies are sending up a signal flare for more omega-3s.
That's a great way to put it. And it's not just about getting enough omega-3s, it's also about balancing them with omega-6 fatty acids.
Omega-6s?
Omega-6 fatty acids are found in foods like vegetable oils, nuts, and seeds. They're not necessarily bad for you, but most of us consume way too many omega-6s compared to omega-3s.
Ah, so it's all about balance.
Absolutely. Too much omega-6 and not enough omega-3 can lead to inflammation, which can show up in all sorts of ways, including that flaking skin.
So what's the best way to restore that balance?
The simplest solution is to cut back on omega-6 rich foods like processed snacks and vegetable oils. And increase your intake of omega-3 rich foods like fatty fish, flax seeds, and walnuts.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's move on to number 5 on our list. Yellowing of the eyes, also known as jaundice.
This is definitely a sign to see your doctor about because it indicates a liver or gallbladder problem.
What causes the yellowing?
It's a buildup of bilirubin in the blood. Bilirubin is a yellow pigment produced during the breakdown of red blood cells. One potential cause is a deficiency of bile salts, which are produced by the liver and help break down fats and eliminate waste products.
So if we don't have enough bile salts,
Mhm.
things start to get clogged up.
Exactly. And that can lead to a buildup of bilirubin, which then shows up as yellowing of the eyes and skin. Again, if you notice any yellowing, see your doctor right away.
All right, let's move on to sign number 6. A chronic cough.
This one might surprise you, but a chronic cough could be a sign of a calcium deficiency.
Calcium. I thought that was for strong bones.
It is. But calcium also plays an important role in muscle function, nerve transmission, and even immune health. Calcium helps relax the muscles in the throat and larynx, which are involved in coughing. When those muscles are tight or spasming, it can lead to a persistent cough.
So a little calcium could soothe those coughs.
Exactly. Dr. Berg recommends calcium lactate as the best form for this purpose.
Good to know. All right, let's move on to number 7. Bleeding or swollen gums.
This one's a classic sign of a vitamin C deficiency. Vitamin C is a powerful antioxidant, and it's essential for collagen production, which helps keep our gums healthy and strong.
So if our gums are bleeding, it's a sign we need more vitamin C. It seems like this could be a pretty common deficiency.
You're right. It can be more common than you think, especially if you're not eating enough fruits and vegetables.
What are some good sources of vitamin C?
Citrus fruits, like oranges and grapefruit, are well-known sources. But bell peppers, strawberries, and broccoli are also packed with vitamin C.
Okay, let's make a note to stock up on those. All right, moving on to sign number 8. Night vision issues.
This one can be a sign of a vitamin A deficiency, also known as night blindness.
I've heard of that. Is that why carrots are good for our eyes?
You're on the right track. Carrots are rich in beta-carotene, which our bodies convert into vitamin A. Vitamin A is essential for healthy vision, especially in low-light conditions.
So if we're having trouble seeing at night, we might need to boost our vitamin A intake.
Exactly. And while plant-based sources of vitamin A, like carrots and sweet potatoes, are great, animal sources like liver, egg yolks, and cod liver oil are even better.
Good to know. I'm adding cod liver oil to my shopping list.
Okay.
Number 9 on the list is one we can probably all relate to. Chapped lips.
Oh, especially in the winter. This is often caused by the same culprit as cracking at the corners of the mouth, a vitamin B2 deficiency. Remember, B vitamins are essential for healthy skin, and our lips are skin too.
That's right. So if we want to avoid chapped lips, we need to make sure we're getting enough B2.
Exactly. And again, nutritional yeast is a great source of B vitamins, including B2.
All right, number 10 on our list is pitting edema, which is swelling usually in the feet or ankles.
This one is often a sign of a potassium deficiency.
Potassium, that's the electrolyte found in bananas,
You
right?
got it. Potassium is an essential mineral that helps regulate fluid balance in the body. When your body isn't getting enough potassium, you can start to retain water. That excess fluid often ends up in your lower extremities, leading to swelling in the feet and ankles.
So how do we make sure we're getting enough potassium? I know bananas are a good source. What else?
Besides bananas, other great sources include leafy green vegetables, avocados, and sweet potatoes.
Okay, we're getting hungry talking about all this delicious food. What's next on our list?
Number 11 is a strange one. Craving ice.
Craving ice. That's a thing.
It is, and it can actually be a sign of an iron deficiency, also known as anemia. Iron is essential for the production of hemoglobin, which is the protein in red blood cells that carries oxygen throughout the body.
So if we're low on iron, we might crave ice. But why?
There's no definitive answer, but some theories suggest that chewing ice might help increase blood flow to the brain, which can be helpful when you're feeling fatigued due to anemia.
Interesting. So if you find yourself constantly crunching on ice cubes, it might be a sign to get your iron levels checked. What are some good sources of iron?
Good sources of iron include red meat, liver, and leafy green vegetables.
Okay, moving on to number 12. Angina, which is chest pain often caused by reduced blood flow to the heart.
This is a more serious one. It can be a sign of a vitamin E deficiency. Vitamin E is a powerful antioxidant that protects our cells from damage. One of its most important roles is protecting the lining of our blood vessels.
So if we're deficient in vitamin E, our blood vessels might be more susceptible to damage.
Exactly. And that can lead to a buildup of plaque, which can restrict blood flow and cause angina.
What are some good sources of vitamin E?
Nuts, seeds, and vegetable oils are good sources, but Dr. Berg recommends catrienols, a specific form of vitamin E that's even more potent than the more common tocopherols. If you're concerned about angina or heart health, it's important to speak with your doctor.
Great point. This has been a whirlwind of information.
I know. Who knew our bodies were trying to tell us so much?
We've only covered 12 of the 23 signs, so let's take a quick break to let all this sink in. And we'll be right back with more fascinating connections between symptoms and nutrient deficiencies. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Thinkiverse podcast so you don't miss the rest of this deep dive. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Thinkiverse podcast. We're halfway through our exploration of 23 signs your body might be trying to tell you something's off in the nutrition department.
So far, we've uncovered some really surprising connections, like white spots on your nails being linked to a zinc deficiency, and how excess sugar can actually deplete your body's zinc stores.
And who knew that cracking at the corners of your mouth could signal a lack of B vitamins? There's so much more to discover, so let's dive back in. Sign number 13 is leg or calf cramps. Do those sound familiar to you?
Oh, absolutely, especially after a good workout. What causes those?
The Dr. Berg says frequent muscle cramps, particularly in the calves, can indicate a magnesium deficiency.
That makes a lot of sense considering magnesium's role in muscle function and relaxation. When we're low on it, those muscles can get tight and cramp up.
So what are the best ways to boost magnesium levels? Should we all be taking supplements?
Supplements can be helpful, but Dr. Berg emphasizes the power of food first. Leafy green vegetables are magnesium powerhouses, so load up on those salads.
I'm sensing a theme here. It seems like we could solve a lot of these deficiencies by simply eating more greens.
Exactly. Nature provides us with exactly what we need. Besides greens, you can find magnesium in foods like almonds, avocado, and even dark chocolate.
That's good news. Now let's talk about number 14, irritability. I know I'm guilty of getting a little on edge sometimes. What about you?
Oh, definitely. Everyone feels irritable sometimes, but what's interesting is that Dr. Berg links persistent feelings of irritability, nervousness, excessive thinking, and even anger to a vitamin B1 deficiency.
Wow. I had no idea a simple nutritional deficiency could impact our moods that much.
It's incredible how much our nutritional status can affect our mental and emotional well-being. Vitamin B1, also known as thiamine, is crucial for nerve function and energy production. When we're deficient in it, our nervous system can get out of whack, leading to those irritable feelings.
So next time I'm feeling stressed or grumpy,
Yeah.
maybe I'll reach for some B1-rich foods instead of a pint of ice cream.
That sounds like a much healthier plan. And again, nutritional yeast is a fantastic source of B vitamins, including B1. Maybe we should invest in stock for nutritional yeast companies.
Right. Okay, let's move on to a more serious sign. Number 15, asthma.
Asthma is a complex condition, and Dr. Berg doesn't claim to have a cure for it. However, he points to a potential connection between asthma and vitamin D deficiency.
Vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin.
Exactly. It's more than just a vitamin. It acts like a hormone in the body, influencing immune function, inflammation, and even lung health.
That's incredible. How does vitamin D relate to asthma?
Well, studies have shown that people with asthma often have lower levels of vitamin D. Supplementing with vitamin D has been shown to reduce inflammation in the airways, which may help ease asthma symptoms.
That's fascinating. So if you or someone you know is struggling with asthma, it might be helpful to talk to your doctor about getting vitamin D levels checked.
I agree. And safe sun exposure is one of the best ways to naturally boost those vitamin D levels.
Don't forget your sunscreen, though. Okay, sign number 16, loss of the outer eyebrows. You've ever heard of that one?
It's a bit unusual, isn't it? Dr. Berg suggests this could be a sign of a thyroid issue, specifically linked to iodine deficiency.
I know that the thyroid and iodine are connected, but what do eyebrows have to do with it?
The thyroid is a powerful little gland. It produces hormones that regulate metabolism, energy levels, and even hair growth. When there's not enough iodine to produce those hormones, hair loss can occur, including in the eyebrows.
So if you're noticing thinning eyebrows, it might be worth getting your thyroid checked and making sure you're getting enough iodine. What are good sources of iodine?
Seaweed is an excellent source of iodine. You could add some nori to your sushi or try a seaweed salad.
Seaweed salad, here I come. All right, moving on to number 17. Tightness in the right trap muscle. That's the muscle between your neck and shoulder. I think we all carry tension there.
It's definitely a common spot to hold tension, especially if you work at a computer all day. But Dr. Berg suggests that tightness in the right trap specifically could be a red flag for a gallbladder issue, particularly a lack of bile salts.
The gallbladder. the organ that stores bile, right? But how does that connect to a tight shoulder muscle? It seems so far away.
It's all about the nerves. Dr. Berg explains that when there's not enough bile, things can get backed up in the digestive system, potentially irritating a nerve that runs right through the right trap area.
So it's like a chain reaction from the gut to the muscle. Who knew?
It really highlights how interconnected our bodies are, and bile salts play a crucial role in digestion and fat absorption. So if you're experiencing this specific tightness, it might be worth discussing your gallbladder health with your doctor.
Okay, let's move on to number 18, nightmares. This one sounds a bit spooky.
It does, but Dr. Berg offers a surprisingly simple solution: vitamin B1. Remember, B1 is crucial for nerve function, and he believes it can help calm the part of the brain associated with fear and anxiety, which could potentially reduce nightmares.
So a little nutritional yeast before bed could lead to sweeter dreams. I'm willing to try it.
It might be worth a try, and as we've discussed, addressing refined carbohydrates might also help to balance those B vitamin levels.
Okay, number 19, craving salty chips at night. We touched on this briefly earlier.
We did, and it circles back to sodium. If you're consistently craving salty foods, especially in the evenings, it could be your body signaling a sodium deficiency.
But isn't too much salt bad for us? I've always heard that.
It can be, but we also need a certain amount of sodium for proper fluid balance, nerve function, and muscle contraction. It's all about balance, as with many things in life.
So if you're craving salt, don't be afraid to add a pinch of sea salt to your meals.
Exactly. Just be mindful of your overall sodium intake and make sure you're balancing it with plenty of potassium-rich foods.
Okay, we're in the home stretch. Number 20, stiff or painful lower back. Oof. I think a lot of our listeners can relate to this one.
It's a common complaint, and Dr. Berg points to a potential link with vitamin D deficiency. Remember, vitamin D plays a role in bone health, and it also has anti-inflammatory properties.
Right, so a lack of vitamin D could lead to inflammation and pain in the back.
That's the idea. Dr. Berg recommends getting your vitamin D levels checked and considering supplementation, especially during winter months when we get less sun exposure.
Makes sense. All right, number 21, craving dirt. Okay, this one is a little out there.
This is definitely an unusual one. Dr. Berg suggests this strange craving could point to a severe iron deficiency. He mentions it's sometimes seen in children or women experiencing heavy menstrual bleeding.
So the body is so desperate for iron that it craves dirt.
It sounds bizarre, but it could be the body's way of seeking minerals that are lacking in the diet.
Wow. If you or your child are experiencing these cravings, definitely talk to your doctor. That's not something to ignore.
Agreed. All right, let's tackle the last two signs. Number 22, erectile dysfunction. This is a sensitive topic.
It is. And while it can have multiple causes, Dr. Berg highlights a potential connection to zinc deficiency.
Zinc is involved in hormone production, including testosterone, which is essential for healthy sexual function.
So a zinc deficiency could impact testosterone levels and contribute to erectile dysfunction.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
And remember, zinc levels can be depleted by excess sugar intake, so cutting back on sweets might be beneficial.
Okay, and finally, number 23, depression. This is a serious mental health condition.
It is. And while it's complex and has many contributing factors, Dr. Berg points to a possible link with vitamin D deficiency.
We've already discussed the connection between vitamin D and mood, right?
We have. Vitamin D is believed to influence serotonin production in the brain. Serotonin is a key neurotransmitter that regulates mood, sleep, and appetite. If you're experiencing depression, talking to your doctor about getting your vitamin D levels checked could be a good step.
Good point. And remember, it's always important to address any potential nutrient deficiencies in conjunction with other forms of treatment, like therapy and medication, as recommended by a healthcare professional. This has been an incredible deep dive. It's amazing how many common symptoms could actually be our bodies trying to communicate their needs.
It really is. We've learned so much about the secret language of nutrient deficiency.
It makes you realize just how much power we really have over our own health.
Yeah, and I think what's been really cool about this deep dive is how it's given us a new perspective on listening to our bodies.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's like we've unlocked this secret code.
Exactly. Like, instead of just ignoring those nagging symptoms, we can now start to see them as clues.
Exactly. Like, okay, if I'm craving ice, maybe I need to up my iron intake. Or if I'm feeling extra irritable, maybe I need to check my B vitamin levels.
It's like our bodies are saying, hey, pay attention, I need something.
And we're finally starting to understand the language that they're speaking.
Yeah, I think that's a really empowering way to look at it. We're not just passive passengers in our own bodies. We can actually actively participate in our well-being.
Yeah, and it's funny because we often think of health as this big, complicated thing,
Yeah.
but sometimes the answers are surprisingly simple.
Absolutely. Like getting enough sleep, managing stress, and of course, nourishing ourselves with nutrient-dense foods.
It's back to basics, really.
And what's so great is that those simple changes can have a ripple effect on our overall health.
Like, for example, we talked about the connection between vitamin D deficiency and depression. Now, I'm not saying that vitamin D is like a cure-all, but it just highlights how important it is to address these deficiencies.
Right. It's about giving our bodies the tools they need to function optimally.
And sometimes that can make a world of difference.
This deep dive has definitely inspired me to take a closer look at my own diet and lifestyle.
Oh, me too. I'm thinking about adding more seaweed to my grocery list for that iodine boost. And maybe some extra nutritional yeast for good measure.
It can't hurt, right?
Exactly.
So to our listeners, we hope this deep dive has been as eye-opening for you as it has been for us.
And if you're experiencing any of the symptoms that we discussed, remember to consult with your doctor or a qualified healthcare professional for personalized advice.
And as always, keep in mind we're not medical professionals. The information we shared is for educational purposes only.
We just love diving deep into these fascinating topics and sharing our insights with you.
And we hope you enjoyed this exploration of nutrient deficiencies and their surprising signs.
And if you did, please show us some love by liking this video and subscribing to Thinkiverse Podcast for more thought-provoking content.
We release new episodes every week, so hit that notification bell so you don't miss out.
We're passionate about unlocking knowledge across the spectrum, and we love having you along for the ride.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in our next deep dive.
Until then, stay curious.